Level 1, the intern. You're 23 years old. You're crawling under a cheap particle board desk to plug in a laptop charger. The thermostat in the war room is set to 60 degrees. It's freezing. The cold seeps through your wrinkled dress shirt straight into your bones. You've lost exactly 12 pounds since you joined this campaign 3 months ago. Your stomach growls. Your only meal in the last 24 hours is a slice of cold pepperoni pizza, the cheese congealed from last night's strategy meeting. But the physical hunger isn't as terrifying as the number crushing you every night. $85,000. That's your student loan debt compounding interest by the day. You stand up. Your next objective: brew a pot of black coffee, no sugar. The bitter, acidic taste slides down your throat, forcing your brain to stay awake. You carry it down the hall, then obediently stand in the corner, feeding 12 stacks of classified internal polling data into the shredder. The blades chew the paper with a relentless, dry, mechanical whine. At the bottom of this food chain, you don't have a name. Nobody cares about your political ideals. The congressman, the man the press hails as the future of the country, just calls you kid. The senior staff refer to you using the industry jargon, you're a gopher, a coffee boy. The desperation to change your life gnaws at you. It burns like battery acid in your empty stomach. You don't want to be a pawn forever. Suddenly, the heavy oak doors swing open. The congressman walks in with his loud, bustling entourage. You quickly step back, pressing your spine against the wall, bowing your head to make way. Your line of sight drops. You see his polished $1 200 leather Oxfords brush past the scuffed toe of your cheap sneakers. The scent of expensive leather, mixed with a hint of cigar smoke, drifts into the air. You stand there, clenching your fists. You make a silent vow to your empty stomach. One day, you're going to be the one wearing those shoes, no matter what it takes. Level 2, the bagman. It is 2:14 a.m. on a Tuesday. You are sitting in a highway diner that smells intensely of burnt beef fat, stale coffee, and cheap cigarettes. The neon sign outside buzzes with a defective flicker casting erratic red shadows across the sticky vinyl booth. You are holding a plain craft paper envelope. It is thick. It contains exactly $15,000 in unmarked, non-sequential $100 bills. 2 hours ago, the congressman, your boss, the family man, the moral crusader, was driving his SUV while heavily intoxicated. He blew through a red light and shattered the femur of a homeless man pushing a shopping cart. The police have not been called yet. You are here to ensure they never will be. Across the table sits a greasy, tired-looking personal injury lawyer who represents the street population when it suits him. He eyes the envelope. You slide it across the scratched Formica table. You do not speak. You do not have to, because in this world, silence is the primary currency. You are buying what the senior staff calls a catch and kill. You purchase the exclusive rights to the victim's story, effectively burying it forever. The lawyer places his hand on the envelope. He nods once. The police report disappears before it is even written. You walk out into the freezing parking lot and you realize you are sweating through your shirt. Your heart is hammering against your ribs at 120 beats per minute. You lean against your cheap sedan and exhale a massive breath. A sudden, terrifying rush of dopamine floods your brain. You just bent the law to your will. You just bought a human being's silence. You tell yourself that the system is corrupt anyway, that you are just moving paper around. You tell yourself you're protecting a crucial education bill the congressman is about to pass. The envelope weighed exactly 112 grams, which is almost nothing. But it was heavy enough to completely crush your moral compass. You drive home feeling an intoxicating new sensation. You feel powerful. Level 3, the spin doctor. You are 27 years old. You are sitting in the campaign's windowless war room, surrounded by the suffocating smell of stale cigar smoke and old sweat. The thermostat is still kept freezing, but you do not feel the cold anymore. You are drinking an 18-year-old single malt scotch from a crystal tumbler. The smoky liquid burns a pleasant numbing trail down your throat. A crisis has hit. An investigative reporter from a major state newspaper has uncovered actual, undeniable proof that your boss accepted illegal campaign contributions from a foreign shell company. The reporter has the wire transfers. He is going to publish the story on Sunday. You cannot use cash to make this go away. You have to use the media. You initiate what the industry calls oppo research, diving into the darkest, most vulnerable corners of the reporter's private life. You hire private contractors to hack his personal emails. You find out he is going through a messy divorce and has a history of substance abuse. You utilize the dead cat strategy, throwing a massive, shocking distraction onto the public table so nobody talks about the wire transfers. You leak doctored emails and manufacture testimonies to fringe blogs painting the reporter as a volatile, abusive addict who fabricates stories for political revenge. You buy bot farms to amplify the rumors. Within 48 hours, the narrative shifts entirely. The reporter is suspended by his editor. His credibility is permanently shattered. He goes from being a seeker of truth to a national pariah. The story about the illegal donations dies in the editorial room. You watch the reporter break down during a televised interview. You look at the screen and you do not feel guilt. You feel the cold satisfaction of a perfectly executed chess move. You receive a $50,000 bonus wired directly into a newly opened offshore account that cannot be traced back to you. The money changes you. You buy a luxury car. You move into a high-rise apartment. You learn to compartmentalize doing terrible things and then going home to eat dinner like nothing happened. Level 4, the handler. You are 34 years old. You are wearing a $4,000 bespoke cashmere suit that feels like armor. You are no longer the one making the late-night drops. You now have a team of 6 underlings who do the dirty work for you. You are the puppet master. Your primary job is laundering millions of dollars from fossil fuel executives through a labyrinth of 501c4 organizations and dark money PACs. You organize straw donors, funneling corporate money through individuals who have no idea their names are being used on federal election forms. You control which legislation lives and which dies before it ever hits the Senate floor. But the power comes with a suffocating, creeping paranoia. You start noticing things you never noticed before. You realize that the people you buy with $100 bills would easily sell you out for $200. You know exactly how easily human loyalty fractures under pressure. Your wife files for divorce. She says you are never home, and when you are home, you are a hollow shell of the man she married. You do not fight the divorce. You just hand her a massive settlement with an ironclad non-disclosure agreement attached to it. You do not trust her. You do not trust anyone. You purchase military-grade audio jammers and install them in the bedroom of your penthouse to scramble any potential listening devices. You sweep your own car for GPS trackers every Sunday morning. You run background checks on the baristas who make your coffee. You communicate exclusively through encrypted messages and burner phones that you destroy weekly. You are surrounded by people who constantly ask for your favors, yet you are completely and utterly alone. You have built a fortress of dark money, but you are the only prisoner inside it. Level 5, the cleaner. You are 40 years old. It is 3:00 a.m. Torrential rain is hammering against the windshield of your armored SUV. You pull into the loading dock of a luxury downtown hotel. The air inside the service elevator smells of ozone and impending disaster. You step into the penthouse suite. The senator's son is sitting on the edge of the bed, shivering uncontrollably high on a lethal cocktail of designer drugs. On the imported Persian rug lies a 19-year-old girl. She is dead, an overdose. Her skin is already taking on a terrifying, waxy blue hue. The senator's son looks at you with empty, terrified eyes. This is the moment that defines your absolute moral rot. You do not call an ambulance. You do not call the police. You pull out a burner phone and make a call to a number that does not exist in any public registry. 20 minutes later, an underground cleaning crew arrives. They are professionals. You stand in the corner of the room, your face an absolute mask of stone, watching as they strip the bed. You watch as they place the young girl's stiffening body into a heavy-duty black biohazard bag. They zip it shut. The sound of the zipper is loud in the silent room. They scrub the carpets with industrial chemical bleach. The sharp, toxic smell of ammonia and iron hits your sinuses. It burns, but you do not flinch. You secure the hotel's security footage and permanently wipe the hard drives. The next morning, you wire $250,000 to the girl's parents through a shell corporation, leaving a forged note indicating she ran away to start a new life. You establish absolute plausible deniability. You tell yourself you are protecting the administration, but some nights you lie awake wondering if you are still human. You look at your hands and you realize you feel nothing. No horror, no remorse. The destruction of a young life is simply another variable to manage. It is just a Tuesday at the office. Level 6, the Kingmaker. You are 48 years old. You are sitting in a subterranean, windowless conference room in Washington, D.C. The walls are lined with acoustic dampening foam. The room is swept for electronic bugs twice a day. There is no natural light, only the sterile, unforgiving glare of fluorescent bulbs. You no longer deal with individual scandals. You operate at a macro level. You are the core of the shadow cabinet. You decide which governors get federal funding and which ones are left to drown in political scandal. You manage a digital vault filled with encrypted USB drives. This is your leverage. You possess the dark secrets of 30 of the most powerful politicians in the country. You know who is embezzling state funds, who has illegitimate children, who is on the cartel's payroll. Every piece of intelligence flows through you. When a progressive candidate threatens to disrupt the corporate monopolies that fund your existence, you simply open a file. A strategic leak to a friendly media outlet, a sudden federal probe, and the candidate is quietly forced to withdraw for family reasons. You do not get your hands dirty anymore. The blood never touches your expensive Italian shoes. The people you destroy are no longer human beings to you. They are abstract concepts. They are rows on an Excel spreadsheet. They are data points that you can highlight and delete with a single keystroke. You dictate the legislative future of millions of citizens without ever running for office. You are the director, the producer, and the owner of the theater. Level 7, the architect. You are 55 years old. You live in a sprawling multi-million-dollar penthouse overlooking the city. The windows are 3-inch thick ballistic glass. The heavy steel doors are secured by biometric locks. Inside your private study, hidden behind a false wall, are 6 fireproof safes. They hold the ultimate insurance policies. You are the embodiment of the deep state. Presidents cycle in and out of the Oval Office every 4 to 8 years, but you remain. You are the permanent infrastructure. Your strategy relies on mutually assured destruction. If anyone ever attempts to arrest you, a dead man's switch will automatically release decades of classified catastrophic blackmail to the global press, bringing down half the federal government with you. You are practically untouchable, but the cost of this absolute power is absolute isolation. The silence in your penthouse is so profound, so suffocating, that you can hear the blood rushing through your own eardrums. You suffer from chronic insomnia. You sleep perhaps 4 hours a night. You employ former Delta Force operators to guard your perimeter 24 hours a day. You never use your real name to order food delivery because you are terrified of being poisoned. Every shadow is a potential assassin. Every unannounced phone call is a potential federal indictment. Your offshore bank accounts hold a net worth in the 9 figures, but you cannot spend it. You cannot travel freely. You cannot form a genuine human connection. You have built an empire of dirt, and it has become your gilded cage. You sit in your leather chair in the dark, staring at the security monitors, realizing that you are the most powerful prisoner on earth. Level 8, the ghost. You are 62 years old. The house of cards finally collapses. A massive multi-agency federal investigation tears through your network. The FBI agents show up with warrants. Someone in your network cut a deal and started naming names. The people you paid millions to protect turn on you to save themselves. The federal prosecutors squeeze you. You have a choice. Spend the rest of your life in a maximum security federal penitentiary or trade everything you know for a chance at survival. You choose to survive. You sit in a closed-door congressional hearing and systematically betray every politician, every CEO, and every fixer you ever worked for. You sign non-disclosure agreements and the government seizes your assets. You are placed into the witness protection program. They give you a new name, a fabricated history, and a modest, depressing house in a perpetually foggy, irrelevant town in the Pacific Northwest. You are officially erased. You have no power, no influence, and no identity. You are a ghost. One rainy afternoon, you are sitting in a cheap, empty diner drinking terrible coffee. You look up at the small television mounted above the counter. A breaking news segment is playing. A charismatic young congressman is giving a press conference vehemently denying a new scandal. But your eyes are not on the politician. Your eyes drift to the background. Standing just behind the podium, half hidden in the shadows, is a young aide. He is wearing a cheap suit. He is clutching a leather binder to his chest. His eyes are wide, hungry, and burning with desperate ambition. You stare at his face, and you recognize that look perfectly. He thinks he's going to change the system. He thinks he is the hero. He has no idea about the loneliness, the moral compromises, or the terrible things he will eventually do. You take a slow sip of your bitter coffee. A new pawn has just stepped onto the board. The cycle begins.